Hey everyone, Jocular Claymore here, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. So, last episode, we confronted the Hardy Boys yet again, and they've given us the whereabouts of Ruby, who is the eighth Hardy Boy, or Hardy Girl, and our likely murder suspects. And Harry and Titus shook hands at the end, so that was nice. So, at this point, we have, I think, 2 skill points, and I've done some reading online because I think we're finally coming to a close with the story, and we still need to do things like we're investigating the two potential spots of where the sniper was, and one of them can't be accessed until we unlock the suspect quest, which is what we're doing now. Ruby is our suspect. So now we're able to do that. She is in the fishing village, and we need to ask around and look around. And while I was searching up information, there was advice that there would be several health and morale checks, and that we would need, to keep up our strength so we don't die, right? So for morale, we've already leveled up volition. There's nothing more we can do about that. We can go ahead and add another one into endurance, and we have one more thing we can do. Yeah, let's just go all endurance. Why not? So that gives us 6 bars of health now. On top of that, I didn't know, or I forgot, that you can purchase health items, health and morale items from the thrift store. So let's just do that real quick. Hopefully they're not too expensive. Oh. The yellow roses in the window. Those aren't the flowers that were left for Clausier.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really...
No, or... Oh, maybe... here?
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign. You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants.
No. This?
A colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles line the shop wall, inviting you closer. The bottles wink at you in the light. The smokes too glitter in their wrapping. It's like looking into a kind of heaven. Your knees are weak.
Palms are sweaty. Mom's spaghetti.
There, in that dark green glass, all in vain. The great flowing river of warmth, wine, alcohol, beer, alcohol, love, alcohol.
This is not a good place for a recovering addict.
Guess not, no.
Good thing you're an unrecovering alcoholic then.
No, we've been good about it.
I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. But I guess you already know that.
Okay, so it looks like these are the things. I wonder what items... Are there items that increase morale? Maybe cigarettes?
Here you go, mister.
Okay.
The pale age vodka is special, I guess. It's stored in pale for a couple of years, which makes it super expensive and super strong.
What is pale?
You know.
Don't worry your pretty little head about it. Let's concentrate on what's important here.
Alright.
Sure. So, are you gonna buy anything, or...?
Because all our deaths so far have been morale deaths, and see, we only have the 2 bars, and we can't level that up anymore. So I don't want to risk it with the alcohol that, increases physique. I think our physique will be fine. We got 6 light bars and a heal item there. We already have 1 equipped, so I guess we'll just leave that. Yeah, under tools. And we have another pack of cigarettes here. Yeah. Alright. If anything, we can always do a manual save as we have been doing, and load a save if we have to. All right. So our next point is to go to the fishing village. So we're gonna fast travel. Ask the fisher folk in the village. Okay. So let's ask Isabel.
The policeman. What can our village do for you?
Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around the coast?
Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately.
Okay, but do you know who I'm talking about?
This is my little cinder block town. I know what goes on around here.
She's being evasive.
Yeah.
She knows something.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect. We would appreciate your help.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other.
Yeah. Isabel's always been difficult to work with. You know something. We're here to help. This is like when that man locked himself in the woodshed. We just need a helper come out. This isn't about the union, though. You don't have to worry about retaliation.
Ah, I should have known. This is yet another union mess. I'm not afraid of them, you know. We are not in the habit of being afraid around here.
I see. You know something, but you've decided not to tell us.
There's not much to tell. People come and go. Now, was there something else?
I see, ma'am. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
Ruby was here. You know it. You need to look into these shacks, especially hers.
Not sure which one is hers, but we can make you autosave. We can ask Lillian over here.
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Simmer down. Simmer down, bastards.
Why does she care about the waves so much?
What is it with you and those waves? Or, just never mind.
Of course. Question time.
I'm looking for someone else, actually.
Oh? Who?
I'm looking for a suspect who might have stayed in this neighborhood.
Okay. When did this person stay here?
Very recently. She might have arrived on Friday.
Oh. I've been out on the sea for most of the past week. The weather's been good for fishing, so I usually start at 4 in the morning.
Really?
Yes, that's the optimal time. Got to make the most of the calm. I've been sleeping like a corpse after. The sea really takes its toll. Now I'm just waiting for the wind to settle to get out there again. Sorry I couldn't help you out. Maybe I can help you find someone else. Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
Alright. I think last time we tried to go in this shack, it was locked. Yeah. I don't think a crowbar would help. No. Alright. We can ask the guys over here, Idiot Doom Spiral and all that.
Tequila Sunset.
Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around here lately?
Can't really remember seeing any women after losing my keys.
It's a touchy topic. He hasn't got laid in ages. He really has no idea who this Ruby is, sire.
Okay. I doubt these guys know.
The noxious odor emanating from the drunken man is strong and familiar.
Don't you call her? Yeah! Don't call Abigail!
The dozing man mumbles something inaudible.
Okay. What about you?
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy boy?
What are you talking about?
So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. I also have speed. And by speed, I mean amphetamine.
Interesting. So he's a merchant as well.
In the civilized world, it's a
Okay.
custom to tip the shopkeep, friend. But
Suppose we can ask the children. These boys,
The scruffy-haired
aren't
little
really
boy
listening
kicks
though.
a stone while the other watches him do it.
Is little Lily your sister?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You must be Lillian's twins.
This one doesn't say anything, kicking the concrete with his worn-out sneaker.
Lily's our mum.
Mm-hmm. Bye. Maybe young Lily knows.
Hello, mister.
Do you know anyone named Ruby?
Ruby. Ruby.
Suddenly the girl gets all serious and leans in as if she's about to tell you a secret.
My mum tells me I'm a big girl, but she doesn't know that I can't say Earl. Or sometimes I can, but then Uller.
Kids.
Yeah, it's not.
Bye!
There's that guy in the suit. Trant, I think his name is. With his kid, Mikhail. We could also try asking the Crabman and Suna. Says, there's a slit in the concrete here. A sewer?
The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth.
What's in there?
Maybe it's just a storm drain for the sewer.
Kim, any idea what's down there?
No idea. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here.
Think we might find Ruby down there?
We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that's mostly collapsed. Revachol sewage system has been built and rebuilt 4 or 5 times now. In conclusion, she could be under any building.
But not in there.
I hope not.
Alright. Talk to you.
Hello again.
I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen anyone suspicious around?
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here.
So you haven't seen anyone around?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
Alright. We can try our crowbar. Money. Velocipede. That'll come in handy. Alright, because I read that supposedly the suspect could be in one of these buildings. I remember we looked through this window already, nothing there.
You see, a slogan used to...
Okay, yeah, we looked at that already. Let's go to the church. Come on. Could these wires work as contact microphones? Alright, she's still here.
Yes, what is it?
Those ravers won't be bothering me anymore. I told them to leave because they were planning a drug trade.
You told them to leave? Didn't think the cops in this place had it in them.
Have you seen anyone suspicious, say a woman named Ruby?
What? No, No one's suspicious around here.
She has not seen her, sire. 'Tis true.
Alright. And the crab man looks like, yeah, he's gone. Wait, what's this? It came from the stained glass window, still has letters on it too. Who else can we talk to? Because we got rid of the ravers. Yeah, we saw this already.
You see that seagull up there?
Oh yeah, we did
Remind
this.
you of anybody? You. Think about the seagulls. Then, no time for that sentimental bullshit. You have the... Exactly.
Alright. I guess we can look for Morel and Gary. They're the ones looking for the insects. I thought they were somewhere here, but it looks like they're gone. Alright, someone suggested asking her about the room and she may give us a key.
The policeman. What can our village do for you?
Is that free room still available?
Change your mind, did you? I thought you might. Won't find a better deal than free. Don't make this old woman regret giving the police the key to her house. Here.
Alright, so we got a key.
The door has seen better days. The layer of paint has started to peel off due to the salt and wind from the sea. Even the lock looks slightly rusted.
Unlock the shack door with the key.
I'll wait outside to give you some time and privacy to check out your new living arrangement and look for any signs of Ruby. But just so you know, after we are done with the day, I'll still be staying in the whirling in rags for the night. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
That's good to know.
The key turns with a satisfying click. You can enter the shack now.
Great. You see the waves, the sea, a church.
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with the expression.
Alright, so we can't do anything with this.
On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. A straight razor soaks inside the wash basin.
First, wash the smell of death off yourself. Yeah, we got that smell from inspecting the body again.
Scrubbing all the necrotic tissue off your hands takes a while. The fingernails are especially hard. Death has made its way into every nook and cranny. Should have used gloves. Detectives use gloves when they go rummaging around in someone's dead brain. But man persists, and finally, your bruised hands look clean and presentable.
Nice.
Sort of.
Is
The sudden
shaving...
absence
Oh,
of
sorry.
the morbid dead tissue smell is uplifting.
Is shaving the right call?
The water reflects back a vague image of your face. Nose bulbous and red, hair unkempt, wrinkles lining the eyes and forehead. The stash is gigantic. A fresh start looms ahead. Clean yourself up and be born anew.
Let's do a save just in case.
On the table, you see a bowl of water. Like an artist with a brush or a master swordsman, you use the small mirror and the straight razor with some soap to remove all that unkempt hair from below the nose line. The sharp blade chafes against your skin, producing a scratching sound. The surface underneath the beard feels tender, the air brushing against it chilly.
Feel your clean-shaven cheeks.
They feel so smooth, surprisingly so. A feeling of freshness overcomes you, as if you just came from a cold bath.
Yeah. Fresh shave always feels good. The floorboards creak under your step. Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a bit. Old science fiction magazines, books about birdwatching, an almanac from '39. This intricate heat engine hums quietly, giving out pleasant warmth.
A brisk coastal wind still howls against the window of the shack. Occasionally, the waves crawl in under the foundation, producing a low hum.
Listen.
The room feels muffled, like you pulled your hat over your ears. Outside, it is cold and windy, but you're inside, and it feels safe and warm.
What is this place to you?
Ooh, creepy. My new hangout, where I could silently sit, drink, and die while looking at the waves roll in. My forward base for the coastal part of the operation. It's free, that's good enough. I could live here. A possible resting spot for my fugitive is what it is. Looks like this is my new home. Wonder where the old one went. Sure.
Waves crash onto the beach, drowning the reeds. Far to the south, a congregation gathers to a soup kitchen in a shelter for the homeless. An old woman gives out knitted scarves for free. This could have been you. This could still be you. A down-on-his-luck nobody, trying to survive.
This feels like a cozy hideout.
Who are you talking to? There is no one here, not even cold.
Thank you, strange sensation, for a fair assessment of the current situation.
Outside, the howl of the wind has picked up. The waves crash against the stilts again. It's as if you think the thought, but in someone else's voice.
Look under the floorboards.
That's exactly what we were going to do. Using a thermodynamic expander condenser cycle. Nice.
As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched.
Move the board aside.
Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below.
What's in here?
Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds. There might be something hidden inside the sand, though.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention that our character portrait has changed after shaving. That's really cool.
Something bad. Someone's night thoughts. A last resort. A bad idea.
Search through the sand and sawdust.
You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then something hard wrapped in paper.
What is it?
A small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet. A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders of that caliber. Like your own Villiers pistol, for example.
This bullet isn't for a breech loader like the murder weapon?
The floorboard isn't interested. Maybe the washerwoman is. You have enough to confront her with. It's extra ammunition. She's locked and loaded, ready to fight some cops.
Alright, looks like we can talk to Isabel again.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Why was there a bullet under the floorboards of your shack?
Damn that girl.
And without anger, a long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
A bullet?
The lieutenant turns to you and gives you a little nod, then turns to the washerwoman.
You didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either.
You rented the room to her?
Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl.
She speaks slowly, wringing out a rag after a long silence. Her hands move into the water bucket. Some water sloshes over the edge.
As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here.
When was this?
She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into, that girl?
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
You said she left on Monday?
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did you.
Kim, she must have heard your Kanima.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
Is the room exactly as she left it?
I cleaned it, like I always do.
Was there anything else there?
No,
The truth, sire.
What is she like, Ruby?
she's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time, kept to herself.
What do you mean?
She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room.
Why do you think she left the bullet there?
How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure. See if she thinks Ruby fits the bill.
I have a possible explanation in my mind.
Aye, do tell.
It's an exit plan.
Exit from what?
The world.
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
No, she's a fighter.
She really believes that.
Does she have any technical equipment with her, like radio stuff?
Not that I know of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape milieux she'd made.
She brushes her forehead with the back of her hand. Water drips to the ground.
Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack. You should be thankful for that.
She may simply have kept the equipment elsewhere.
Where does she go?
I don't know. Further up the coast. She tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent.
This is a cool moment. It needs a cool thing to be said.
Oh my, this one. Let's rock with our cock. Further up the coast we go then. That place is huge. Man, I was really hoping she'd be hiding in the village. Further up the coast we go.
Are you sure you would rather stay here? Get a nice cozy fire going in the heater? Seems like a better idea to me.
The Feld electric mural. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time.
What more do you want to know about? Yes, let's have one thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
All right.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
Okay. So now we can go back to that electrical building and examine it.
You see, a slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Step closer.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Feld Electrical. How ironic. All these dark rooms. Feld Electrical, you only know them as a small company that makes ink cartridges. Looks like they used to be big. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first.
Could Ruby be in there?
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat shack. In that church tower, maybe.
Why single out this one building?
Shivers, huh? Do we have anything for shivers? This one. Will this help?
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical.
Yeah, and we're fully maxed on shivers anyway. Thank you, autosave. Alright, so I saw that in order to progress, we have to make these shivers checks. There should be 2 of them, and they recommend drinking alcohol before. So we're gonna save scum, that is, keep backing up our save, and if it doesn't work, we'll go back and load that save and just keep going until we get it. So we have smokes, but no drinks. We're gonna have to get drinks. Okay, be right back.
Bottoms up, Captain.
Alright, bottoms up.
Well, hello. What a solid... Wow. The god... There's a satisfying pop. A golden sun melts down your throat. Its rays filling your nostrils with sunshine. Your stomach melts from it into a happy, gooey mess.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's an alcohol button. Alcohol gives +1 to physique skills. Physical instrument, half light, electrochemistry, endurance, pain threshold, and shivers. This is good before rolling a white check, but damages your morale. And remember,
from the void we came, and to the void we must return.
Alright.
The once bright mural towers above you. Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
What was I even attempting to do here?
Trying to talk to the wind. The city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas?
She could be anywhere. How do we find her?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We've already talked to the cryptozoologists. Working with them might give us a good excuse to run around, give us some structure. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too.
That's true.
Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village.
And if that fails, if we don't find her?
Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
He looks behind him at the dark red box crumbling across the chasm.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. An adventure awaits. An adventure on the windswept urban coast. Buckle up and raise your collar. This search is going to be wet and cold.
Alright. Save here. We do have a skill point. We can add another to Shivers. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Alright. Next, we can return to the Bell Mural and consult the wind if you don't know what to do. Other than that, keep searching the coast. She could be anywhere. Look inside the church, ask around. There are people to the west of the mural, or I don't know, ask a girl on the date, then ask her, ask the wind maybe? Yes, so, I did hear that you can go on a date with Lily M. Might as well try that.
Waves are beginning to die.
Why does she care about the waves so much?
What is it with you and those waves?
What is it with waves and fishermen? We need to be out there with them, fishing, making a living. So I asked them to accommodate me. But until that happens, I can try to assist you the best I can. So, what will it be, officer?
So I take it that's your skiff?
Sure is. The Sun, I call her, coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. It'll take some time for it to dry, assuming the sunny days continue.
Sunny days?
Aye. Sunny days. You got a problem with that?
No, ma'am. We have no quarrel with sunny days.
Good. It would have been bad news had it turned out it wasn't a sunny day. Bad news for the skiff, bad news for the nets, bad news for the kids.
There's a moment's silence. She looks at the slushy snow melt on the yellow belly of the boat.
I want to ask you something else.
Go right ahead.
We might have to do these other things. We might need to revisit these dialogue options.
Like I said, fish mostly. I sell the fish to... Sometimes I also walk to the...
Keep it professional, man. Don't make it sound like you're hitting on her.
Walking on the beach sounds quite romantic.
Oh, very. Finding pieces of glass, bits of wood. Every once in a while we get dead bodies. Human, animal, fish, other sea creatures. A mine washed ashore once. What else? Bottles, drugs also, lost cargo in general. Most of the time it's just wood and glass. Very romantic.
All right. Major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
I need to know about those human bodies. A mine? Drugged? This place looks bad. Why don't you leave?
And go where? The fish are plentiful here and we get enough orders to get by. It's not great, but it's something.
Follow the work. That's where the money sleeps. Anywhere with better opportunities. Just somewhere away from all this sadness.
People imagine picking up and finding something better is an easy solution. But how is that supposed to work when all your time and energy goes to staying alive? You have almost nothing to set aside to actually fight your way out.
That is so true.
I don't mean to complain about my pauper life. We are warm and fed here and... I don't know. There's just something about this shithole.
A sudden gust of cold air blows in from the sea. The waves flow and ebb. Around you, the fishing village takes its slow and steady breaths. Its many wooden structures, worn by bitter years of salt and storm.
Why would anyone like it here?
It's home.
Okay. Alright, so we can't ask her on a date with Kim there, because it makes things awkward. Okay. What else can we do? Can't find... I don't know where Morel and, Gary went. Oh, there you are.
Hello, hello. What can I do for you, officer?
I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen a woman with red hair who seemed to be on the run?
I'm afraid not, officer. I've been busy digging around in the reeds for days, looking for signs of insect activity. I'm less interested in mammalian concerns, to be perfectly honest.
The lieutenant takes a short note in his notebook, then gestures for you to proceed.
What if we check the traps for you?
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
Cryptozoology and detective work are very similar. Chaos is my method. I am its scion. We're looking for someone hiding on this very coast, looking for another thing may lead us to her.
Why not? At least it will give us the excuse to look into a lot of reels.
That it will. That it absolutely will. I hope you brought your good boots.
Where are these traps?
There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed. by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them, you should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry.
Be careful where you tread in the reeds. Some less conscientious researchers may have left their traps out there, armed, hidden.
What do I do if there's a phasmid in one of the traps?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself.
What if I encounter the phasmid in the wild?
That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
Lay it on me.
Wise choice.
This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
He looks at the lieutenant with disdain, then puts the spray back in his bottle. I'm ready, let's get to it.
Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it.
If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss, you'll have time for that later too. But what if the information is vital? On the hunt.
Did you know Gary was hiding the armor?
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
Thanks.
Okay. How'd you become a cryptozoologist?
I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both.
So you're living your childhood dream out here?
It's not child's play. Just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often.
He takes the dangers and discomforts that come with his work for granted. But just imagine the unforgiving desert heat he's endured. The wetlands filled with venomous reptiles he has crossed.
I'm the most rugged of men. That sounds like my kind of fun.
You could get a heat stroke and faint and hurt your head. You could get bitten by a snake. You could get beaten up for trespassing.
Suffering will only make me stronger.
It's probably this way of thinking that got you where you are.
Nice. Why not just be a zoologist? Real animals are puzzling too.
Real? I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does.
It's a profession like any other.
Indeed. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen.
Your nerve endings tell you there is no such thing as a positive surprise.
And has anything truly surprising ever happened to you?
No, as I said, I have yet to catch a cryptid, although I have come close.
Interesting. Something for later, this close call.
What kinds of evidence do you use?
Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts, like the one that brought us here, to look for the phasmid. I keep a very open mind.
He's interested in things that people believe that scientists don't.
You think other scientists don't listen to ordinary people enough?
Most establishment scientists only care about reputation and remuneration, not real research, and certainly not the truth. They're a cowardly lot, and both the field and basement archives can be dangerous places.
So you have never discovered a cryptid?
No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid.
So how many cryptids have been found?
Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemnee, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection.
Only 2 have been proven to be real?
Yes, the Chateau Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yugograd, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching.
That's not even 1%.
In fact, it is 0.05%. Ever more magnificent, should our search contribute to making that number 0.075%.
Interesting that it says not in place of 0.
He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion.
Thanks for explaining that.
Yes? All right.
We would have to discuss. He wants to say, but decides against it, since you've offered to help.
Which cryptid did you almost catch? You said before that you almost caught one.
A willow person. It's a long story. One non-specialists would find rather dull.
Willow people? Not at all.
What are willow people?
They're not people, really. Some argue they aren't really animals, as they seem to have evolved directly from trees. They're very, very thin, almost flat in fact, and can camouflage themselves easily, wrapping themselves around trees and blending in with the tree bark. In that way, they're not too dissimilar from the phasmid we're looking for here.
How did you almost catch a willow person?
Gary and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow-drying paint. It was a bright lavender colour. I was hoping one of the willow people would get paint on it and not be able to camouflage itself. After waiting in hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from one of the trees, a lavender shadow, dashing through the grove.
And then?
I chased it with a net. Not very elegant. You can't be elegant in the field. And, well, it was faster than me.
A lavender shadow.
I know you think we were snacking on funny mushrooms. It's easier to mock someone than to admit that the world might be more interesting than you've imagined. Furthermore, I'm not saying it was a confirmed sighting. I'm painfully aware of what goes into verifying such things. There is a serious possibility that I saw a squirrel or a trick of the light. I am my own harshest critic.
You know, for a cryptozoologist, he's quite reasonable.
He makes it a real point here to sound falsifiable.
And Lena's sighting of the phasmid, is that...
Confirmed. It's 100% verified and meets all the standards of an authentic cryptid sighting.
Your friend Gary told me about the burning rhino.
Did he? That one's a hoax. Some Seraise rice farmers set fire to rhinoceros cadavers and use them to scare tourists.
Have you told Gary this?
Many times. It always turns into an argument. I don't want to repeat it. The rhino holds a special place in his heart. Let it. Myths are part of my field.
It's a gut feeling. He knows it exists. Fuck the so-called specialists.
What if the other cryptids are hoaxes too?
Many of them probably are. Statistically speaking, about 20% of all cryptids are verified hoaxes. Uncovering falsehoods deliberately fabricated to fool the public is just as much my calling as finding new species.
If perhaps slightly less enjoyable.
See, Kim? One of them is a hoax.
Which one?
The burning rhinoceros.
The burning rhino is where they draw the line.
I knew it can't be real.
Did you? It is almost as difficult to confirm a hoax as it is to confirm a sighting.
Just tell me about a cool cryptid, any cryptid.
No offense, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. I don't know what I would have done if Lena hadn't persuaded me to go back to field research. You should ask her if you want interesting stories. Me? I'm not a people person, unless you haven't noticed. And I don't make a good lecturer. My strength lies in field work and persistence.
This is a gruff man who's been ridiculed too many times to feel comfortable talking about what's dearest to his heart. It's in his shoulders, his face, his everything.
That makes sense.
By all means.
Alright, let's talk to Gary.
Hello again. Very generous of...
Nothing new. Okay. Check the trap in Land's End. There are 4. Checking them all and return to morale. Okay. That's a trap, right? Yeah.
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set before. Same mesh, same wiring.
Look around.
The reeds sway in the coastal breeze. They seem to be waiting for something. The wind picks up here, near the cape's end, surrounding the narrow strip of land from 3 cardinal directions. It's cold for this time of year.
Reach for the trap.
Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten. You see no carnivorous reed phasmid gorging on them.
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go.
You set the apparatus back on the ground among the reeds.
Alright, next. I think Morel's trap, I think he did say to save that for last. Check the trap near the boathouses west of the Fell building. Alright. So this is the Fell building. West, yep.
This is the trap Morel just set. Checking it over, he said, is just a technicality. But...
yeah, and it looks like they're gone for the day. Look around.
The reeds by the abandoned campsite hiss and shake. It's good the cryptozoologists left. This isn't a very cozy place to stay night after night. The later it gets, the colder. Remnants of the camp can still be seen in the sand. The fire that's gone out. You feel strange, somehow.
Reach for the trap.
This trap is also full of panicked locusts. No sign of any cryptozoological beast inside.
Another empty trap.
Neither does the lieutenant. He just raises his collar. It's cold out, as always.
Okay, that was Morel's. Near the boathouses west of the Fell building. I guess down here? Boathouses. Yeah, like, there we go.
This trap's not too hard to spot, once you know what to look for. Keeping it hidden has not been a priority for the cryptozoologist.
Look around.
Behind you, the ruins of a residential building rise over the reeds, shielding them from the wind. The reeds rustle confidently. When this district was booming, the reeds were kept at bay. Nothing obscured the freshly painted facades. Nowhere for drunks and adventurous teenagers to hide. Now only the wind blows.
Reach for the trap.
Nothing but locusts in this trap as well. Definitely no cryptozoological monstrosity.
Empty as all of them. 1 more of these and we're done.
You getting tired?
No, I'm fine. I didn't mean to complain, it's just...
Last one is near the canal you crossed southeast of the village. Okay. Okay, we're back at the village. I mentioned southeast. Is that it?
It takes you a moment, but finally, You spot the last of Morel's traps. This one's partially obscured by the reeds.
Look around.
The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. You see slabs of concrete north. In the east, the city center hums to you. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again. Always the cold.
Reach for the trap.
The trap feels light and silent as you pick it up. Something is different here.
Look closer.
No locust. No phasmid either. But still.
Look closer still.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though. Unless you see one in there. I just see an empty trap.
The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others. Like someone or something picked up the trap and shook it before dropping it back down on the ground.
I do get the feeling that someone or something may have messed with the trap.
Perhaps our cryptozoologists have competition in the form of an actual entomologist, or someone else is sabotaging them. I could present more theories, but then I would be taking this on as a case, which I'm not.
Yeah, still, Morel needs to know.
We did, sort of, promise to tell them, didn't we?
He seems to regret the fact.
A cold gust of air dries your sweaty face, and you look to the dark shadow of the felled building in the distance, drawing you to it. What a strange sensation. Once this is done, should you ask the wind again?
Progress. So, yep, return to Morel and the whirling with the news. Alright, let's save here. And go talk to Morel. There's Morel. Someone new, too.
It's great to see you again, officer. My wife can't wait to thank you. Go on, talk to her.
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
Just doing my job, ma'am.
Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie. Mexican origin. The pin is an antique. Quite special.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull, with 8 eyes.
Sounds cool.
You could ask her about this when you get the time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course, is more important.
And now we can get her to talk to us about more cryptids, but I think... Let's see, do we finish that? Oh yeah, we gotta tell Morel. Okay.
Ha! Nothing like the gratitude of a good woman. Now then, what can I do for you?
He tries to play it cool, remain professorial, but inside, this man is itching for some news on those traps.
So I checked all the traps.
Good. Okay. And
one of them was empty.
Completely empty?
Yes, there was nothing in the trap. No locusts, no phasmid.
No locusts? No phasmid either?
That's not ideal, but...
It just means the Insulindian phasmid is even more clever than we thought.
She's engaging in a well-known self-deception called motivated reasoning. You should correct them.
Of course, more clever.
Yes, the Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news, though we'll have to reconsider the design of the traps, make them more secure.
Another trip to the reeds.
Oh, is that Gary who's standing there? Oh, okay, that makes sense. I thought it was someone new. It's not very scientific to reason backward from a conclusion you want to be true.
I appreciate your concern, officer, but please leave this to the experts. Unless you have an alternative hypothesis you'd like to venture.
You're jabbing at the soft underbelly of his psyche. He realizes he's gotten defensive.
Actually, no. Excuse me for getting emotional. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now, and brought some great news too. My gratitude, and The gratitude of the Société Cryptozoologique de Ravachol is yours.
Heartfelt gratitude. But does it feel like closure? What really happened? Some kind of foul play might be afoot. Theft?
Thank you, it's an honor. We should probably return to our main investigation here. This has been refreshing, but...
Helping cryptozoologists isn't really a priority for our organization, is it? The lieutenant looks out the window, impatiently. Damn it, Lieutenant. Have you no intellectual curiosity?
Oh man, I guess we did insult Morel. My bad. Well, of course, let's do a manual save first.
Hello. Lena and I were just...
Consider the way the empty trap was disturbed, as though shaken. Most likely the hands of a young person. Hands small enough to fit inside the trap, too. You should ask the red-headed boy.
Kuno. I think a little hooligan called Kuno may have stolen the locusts.
A little hooligan? But what would a child want with bugs?
I mean, bugs are cool. Even the kids.
Oh, my dear Morel. You've been an old man for too long. Kids love to torment insects almost as much as they love to torment old folks.
I'll talk to the little gremlin and see if anything comes up.
Delinquents. My favorite.
Oh, you've been such a dear to us. Please, let us know whatever you turn up. I have a feeling we're getting so close.
Well, I see you've got all the help you need. I'll see you tonight at my place. Let's play suzerainty, but no more field trips for me.
After this is your last chance to talk to Gary.
Interesting.
Really, Gary? We're getting somewhere here. I'd love to play suzerainty, but...
Lena, I'm sorry, but you're not getting anywhere. It was some kids. I know the little mutants around here. Leave anything out in the open and they'll steal it, even if it's bugs. Morel, it's been fun, really, but I need a bath and I have deliveries to handle. When this tea is done, I gotta run.
No need to apologize, Geary. You've been more than helpful. We'll have to take a rain check on that game of suzerainty today, though. We're gonna follow this through.
He keeps the language unemotional, but it's in there. Disappointment.
Okay. So we have the missing insects case. Yeah, so I know that Lena and Morel's cases improve our shivers, and we could go and investigate the mural again and listen to the wind. Yeah, let's try it. We can always back up our save. And is this Gary?
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law.
Yeah, you look way older.
I mean, officers.
We already talked to you. Okay. We'll save here just in case. You can never save too often. Never to save your progress. Right.
The once bright mural towers above. Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs.
Like
She
Dolores.
wraps the collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through it.
Where does it go?
In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach below the boardwalk. Its winding tunnels, a whisper away.
What's happening?
She's down there.
I think she's down there, below this building.
Okay. Why?
The wind told me. We've looked everywhere else. Ever since I woke up, maybe even before, I've been getting these strange cold spells.
Good, good. Yes. Cold spells. So basically your hangover is telling you she's down there?
Call it a gut feeling.
So, how do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
Finally, my time to shine.
There's a ladder next to the sign. Perhaps we can climb it, enter through the roof.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
Alright. Let's do a save here. Wonder if we'll get some health damage here, possibly.
A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Some of the rungs are missing.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
Assess the situation.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and the peeling rust is razor sharp. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground, and you're 180?
190, I'm a giant.
Okay, but still, the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Perhaps if you were to not climb the ladder. Instead, what if you were to do something more subtle? What if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder?
What if I don't climb? What if I just teleport?
Teleportation is not a thing.
Come on, Kim, where's your adventurous spirit?
This really has nothing to do with adventure. We are dealing with basic physics here.
It won't hurt to try.
Oh yes, it could hurt. A lot.
Teleport there. We saw Tiago climbing. Teleport to the roof. Okay.
All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to is...
do it.
Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
No way.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
Don't gloat, just act cool. Cool guys don't look at explosions and all that.
You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed.
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear...
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside.
Don't go adventuring without backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here.
Alright. Safe here. The central support beam has been destroyed by artillery fire. Stones fall. It's a long way down. Can we go over there? Trying to... No. I guess not. Alright. Let's get our flashlight. The glass is covered with grime and dust. You can barely see out. Postcard? More stairs? This collapse nearly sealed the basement. One can barely squeeze by. Antiquated office furniture. Last century, maybe? Let's play back. This overturned table is covered in orange mildew, crawling with something. Okay. Old file folders in the cart, documents silvery with mold. A series of thick, dusty panes of glass.
This isn't just glass. These are old computation components.
These are computer components?
Yes, filament memories. From the time when wires were cast in glass, slides with an inlaid nervous system.
How'd they do that, and why?
The how was a closely guarded secret. Something that was locked in safes in human heads across the river where they were manufactured. As to why, your fingers don't know. The why is easy, because they hadn't come up with modern silicon-based systems yet. For vitreous cast filament memories, though, these seem incredibly advanced.
Right. Suit jacket. Cool. And it added morale. Very nice. Alright, oh, there's Tim.
Two rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while.
Who is it?
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
Okay.
The doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the two metal panels slide open with a creak.
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that.
How'd you even get there?
After you climbed up to the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk. It's next to a drain pipe, possibly a storm drain. It was easy to miss before.
Maintenance entrance. So pedestrian.
Yes. It's cool to risk your life climbing rickety ladders. Anyway, let's investigate these passages.
Alright. I guess that's the way out. Alright. In the beam of the flashlight, a crevice in the wall. Is that a picture of me? Revolutionary's hat. Huh. Why not?
This hat is so soft, so warm. It wraps around your head, and your mind tingles with all manner of socio-economic theory.
This is an Ushanka, right?
Kraz Mazov would have worn this Yushenka. Mazov knew where to cook those thoughts. That's why it bears a Mazovian logo. Glory to the revolution, comrade. Whether you like it or not, wearing this hat has made you more communist.
That helps us out with our comrade quest. I was gonna say, is that a picture of me? These pots and plates are full of dust and spider webs. Excuse me.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. The plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spider web in the lower left corner of the portrait. Kraz Mazov, nom de guerre, was an economist and a theoretical historian. He was a leading figure in the Grad side of the turn-of-the-century revolution, where he headed the 9-day government. Mazov is considered the father of
11-day,
scientific communism, Mazovian thought, or Mazovianism.
Brush the dust off the portrait.
Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand, grains sticking to the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder.
Look, Kim, it's Comrade Mazov.
Yes, I can see that. Looks like some communists were hiding out here. They left a long time ago.
The lieutenant does not seem to share your enthusiasm.
A long time ago? How long?
Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment by then, but that's all been looted.
What's with all these secret weapons caches and secret bunkers?
We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
Maybe I should move in here. Seems cozy.
I won't stand in your way. but only after we're through with this case.
Could someone have stopped through here recently?
You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
Yeah. That reminds me. It adds to our... Yeah, this one. Alright, we'll leave it alone. The same slit window you saw from the outside. Oh. Revolutionary propaganda on the bunk bed, ancient flyers and brochures. Alright. Oh. Stale fabric smell and dust. No one slept here in months, maybe years. Right. Trying to get back out. I know there's a slit here, but... Come on. Almost there? There we go. Tracks. Boot prints in the sand. One of the soles appears more worn than the other. There's something in the air, an unnatural buzzing. The tunnel collapsed. You'll have to find another way around. Mm-hmm. It's getting louder, the buzzing sound.
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell.
Lieutenant, do you feel something?
No. What do you mean?
A pain, a strange tingling.
I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh.
I saw them too. Footprints with the right sole worn smooth.
Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully.
What do you mean?
Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
Alright. We found out Bart's plan to take the harbor. Maybe we should tell Joyce about it?
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but...
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
We know what Joyce knows about the murder, but I may have other things to discuss with her.
Yes. There won't be time for that once things go down. Matter of fact, I don't think there's time for it now, but...
If you must.
Do you think whatever happens will affect our cryptozoologists?
You mean Morel? I don't see how cryptozoology and the murder investigation are connected, but the situation in the city will get tense for everyone.
If it gets that tense, the amateur zoologists might not be able to do their job.
How bad do you think things could get?
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
What do you think is waiting for us there?
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
Definitely safe here. It feels strange. A concrete pipe buried in sand and dust. Running?
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse. Can't say it's a pleasure, officer.
I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance, but here we are.
As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. It sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways.
Cover your ears.
No, buddy, that's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience, way worse than all the previous ones.
What's happening to me?
I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
The explosion of static you're hearing, it's the ULAN frequency, blasted from that pale emitter that Angus mentioned.
I saw your equations. It's the ULAN frequency.
Saw my equations? You've been sniffing through my lorry, right? I expected as much. I am a bit surprised you knew what you were looking at.
This is wild.
A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale, literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking. Look for an opportunity to break loose.
What's this goddamn pale, anyway?
The pale? It's the end of the world.
How'd you get your hands on this thing?
I built it myself.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Way beyond.
Will I stay like this forever?
No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like waking out of a very confusing dream.
Have you experienced the compressor yourself?
Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through.
This is all great, but let's talk about the man who was killed.
Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not cops, and of herself merely as prey.
Please, could you just turn it down so I can ask you something?
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
You're looking for a deal with my night. Turn this.
God damn it. Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
The gun she's carrying is a two-barreled front loader, not like the murder weapon. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep her distracted for long enough, maybe. Be careful when you make your move. That'll be it for questions. Bide your time.
How did you know we were coming?
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while.
By hiding bullets under floorboards?
So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised.
She didn't rat you out, by the way. Isabel, the washerwoman.
So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back.
Preparing for the worst?
I was. Before I caught you in the pale latitude compressor. I'm fine now.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit.
Did you shoot Lely?
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first.
You're right, Claudia was the first to share suspicions, or it was your girlfriend she cracked.
Oh, I knew the kitten had claws, but not like this. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me?
Your own boys told us you were on the coast.
My boys?
Ruby Boys, formerly the Hardy Boys.
What? I don't even understand what you're trying to get at here. Oh, doesn't even matter. How can they be my boys when they're not even my friends? Those guys liked me, I know it. This is what happens to people whom people like. How the fuck do the rest of you get by?
Wait, wasn't it you who called me the human can opener? I do it by asking questions and I have some for you. Honestly, I just don't know how
Like what? I already told you I didn't do it.
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
Do you have an alibi for when Lily was shot?
Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon me.
They did say you left to take a really long leak, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm sure they also made some funny remarks about it. They always do. I've driven a lot of long haul and chugged a lot of beer, man. Can't do either without some power of mind over bladder. And anyway, that wouldn't have been enough time.
Our investigation has shown that 15 minutes was just enough time to commit the murder.
Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain.
Play pinball much?
No. Not since I was 14 and hanging out in the only diner in Dardun. Haven't been into low-risk, no-reward games since moving to the city. Why?
There are some mysterious pinball machines in some pretty mysterious rooms in the Whirling.
Yeah, and probably some ghosts from the time of the suzerain. I'm not really interested in supernatural mysteries.
Okay, never mind mysteries. There's a secret way from the Whirling bar to the roof.
Don't know it, but also, the shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we would have all heard it downstairs.
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
You're running drugs for the Union. I've been through your lorry.
So, Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too. Never trust a musician.
Yeah, I made him talk.
Yeah, that figures. What now? You're going to arrest me for drug trafficking?
She's more upset than she lets on.
You had a financial incentive to kill the merc.
Man, it's to get away from all that murderous shit that I left Jamrock, my previous employer, for the Union.
You good?
She deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for. You might be able to find this out later.
I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This gun has only been used for self-defense against serious scum.
She turns the knob down just a millimeter.
There. It's going to be easier to reach the machine now.
But you're threatening us with it.
Based on what I've heard about you, you are serious scum.
Would you say that Lely was a likable person?
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types.
Did you feel protective of the Union?
Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here.
I have other questions.
I'm listening.
Do you like to hang out on rooftops?
Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna.
Is that the only reason you hung out on the roof?
The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Claudia.
I'll show you my antenna. What's so great about her antenna?
It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival.
So you're sure you didn't shoot the merc from the roof?
Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar.
You have a gun.
And?
Where'd you get it?
The gun store.
What gun store?
Trigger Happy Jacks.
That doesn't sound like the name of a real store.
What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal.
I see it's a front loader. Do you have another gun somewhere?
Sure don't.
A breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
Do you collect guns, maybe old rifles?
No, they're not practical. Break too often.
I can't quite tell. What kind of gun is it?
A Nachtway 80 front loader. 2-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing.
That isn't it.
There's other evidence I want to ask you about.
Yeah, evidence.
Did you leave any flowers for Claudia on the roof?
No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style.
Not even wildflowers? Maybelle, for example?
Nope.
But Claudia was mourning.
I never did understand why, when someone dies, a hothouse's worth of flowers has to die too.
Okay, so you didn't leave Maybelle's.
No, I did not.
Okay, let's take a step back.
Yeah? Where?
Let's see. 83. Who killed the merc if it wasn't you?
How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio.
Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late, listening in on the conversations crisscrossing Martinez.
Police radio? You've been following the case?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in Claus's room, lying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while.
What happened Sunday night? Tell me your version.
She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity.
It's okay. We just want to...
All right, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Klasia comes in, all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her.
Claudia said you knew something was wrong immediately.
No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her. But no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
How did you manage to come up with a plan so quickly?
What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea.
Her idea?
Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck. To fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy Boys.
She lied to you about that, too.
Showerhead, resourceful.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed.
Do you think she killed Ellie herself?
As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried the lynching might lead to...
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going...
She doesn't want to talk about this, but not because she has something to hide. She doesn't want the guilt.
Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me.
If you didn't kill him, why hide?
I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
What do you mean, La Puta Madre agent?
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
Really?
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. fucking hell. And why me? You hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded.
Who's everyone? How do you know this?
Everyone in Jamrock. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up in here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you?
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Tell me, what's my name? If you know that about me, you must know my name.
Harry Dubois. One corrupt motherfucker with the disco pants and a funny tie. Agent to la puta madre.
All of this just means that you're effective. Criminals know you and are scared of you.
La puta madre. I've heard of La puta madre. He's dangerous, right?
Is that a joke or a threat? I'm guessing both.
No, that was a real question. I'm sorry. Yes, of course. Are you scared yet? That was a real question.
Yeah, sure.
She doesn't believe you.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough.
What did you do to this madre anyway?
You've been to my lorry. You think the biggest player in Jamrock appreciates competition? Now I have Harry Can Opener in my lair. Fucking Titus.
Wait, one thing. Possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something.
When I came into town, was there anyone with me?
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway?
I don't know what happened to them.
Sure you do. I bet they're just outside waiting. I guess I'll take my chances.
Who is in this squad?
Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had 2 guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either.
What else can you tell me?
One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying. That sound about right?
No idea who these people are, literally. Satellite Officer Vic Mayer looks out of the window grimly, then puts his coffee down and turns to Patrol Officer Mino. We can either take a room here in the whirling or go home for today. Let's go home, Jean. Nothing's going to happen today, she responds quietly. Jean takes his blonde wig off. Call Heidelstein. He can give us a ride.
I think I know them. They're in Martinez.
Fantastic. I've got to get on the road. Then you can go find your friends. Unless you have anything pressing to ask me.
You did it. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell, but...
You okay, Kim?
All good, officer. Be careful.
She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles.
Oh, fuck it.
What are you doing?
Problem solving.
Ma'am, put the gun down. That's not the solution to your problems. You are...
Oh, yes it is.
Let's try to convince her not to.
You should know the words to say. You've been here yourself. So why is it not coming to you?
Why am I standing here like an idiot?
Because you've misread the situation from the beginning. And now her finger squeezes the trigger.
Come on, one idea. I need one idea.
A smirk crosses her face as she watches you stand there, mute. Then she exhales sharply, shakes her head, and pulls the trigger. You watch as her brains trickle out through her neon hair.
Oh god.
Fuck.
Okay, what do we do now?
We clean up. It may take days for processing to pick up her body. We need to move it somewhere. That tent there.
I wonder if there's a way to save her.
She looks...
Oh, fuck it. Problem solved.
Ma'am!
Oh, yes it is.
She's truly desperate. She thinks she has no other options. You need to give her options.
What options?
You know.
Maybe I can still talk her out of it.
This is how you talk her out of it. It's the only scenario in which she lives.
Please, just walk away.
She stares at you, frozen, the gun still in her mouth, eyes filled with dark intensity. Then something shifts in her. Her neck and shoulders relax, and her grip on the gun loosens.
You don't have to do this. You're not cornered. I'm letting you go. Just fucking go, okay, before I change my mind.
Day of miracles. I'll take it.
She runs past you, then past the lieutenant, and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel.
Good call.
Thanks. I did my best.
I would have done the same, had I not been incapacitated.
What if we just let the murderer go?
I have a feeling we didn't. Her tent. We should check it out.
Wow. Alright, let's investigate this before we wrap up. We can heal up. Cooking utensils. She's prepared herself porridge with bananas. Healing item. Nice. Dark water trails into the distance. There is no way out.
The plain red tent stands by dispassionately. It was pitched by practiced hands. She's used to camping out.
Look inside.
The tent looks old, but well maintained. In the darkness of the tent, a rolled up sleeping bag, cooking utensils, some books, and a kerosene lamp. It reeks of cigarettes.
Shine your flashlight on the book.
Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another, a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines.
See anything?
Sift through the magazines.
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. It's not a magazine, it's a leather notebook.
Take the notebook.
You pocket the worn brown leather journal. A trusted friend left behind.
We should read this immediately, like right now.
Alright.
A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket.
Examine the cover.
It's made of full-grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name, Schneller. Schneller is a stationery brand from Gottwald, beloved among architects and engineers. She's got good taste and must have taken whatever she recorded here seriously.
Unwind the strap.
The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages have been filled.
Study the handwriting.
The large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently. Perhaps too confidently. Many phrases and even paragraphs have been crossed out, with tiny corrections scrawled above and in the margins.
Flip through the pages.
It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections, all dated.
It's good she left in a hurry. We could learn a lot from this.
What kinds of logistics?
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information, quantities, directions.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
What are the diagrams of?
Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape.
Anything personal?
Short, wry observations of people and places. Probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through some difficult decisions. There are a few passages with many questions in them.
How far back do the entries go?
The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable.
What did she write the day Lily died?
Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. But that's another matter entirely. She is referring to betraying her previous employer. Does this suggest she did it in self-defense?
Anything about La Puta Madre?
That name isn't mentioned as far as you can tell. Small wonder. Would you talk about La Puta Madre in your journal? You do see an M, though. La Puta Madre. M is mentioned on March 9th and March 15th.
Read the entry from March 9th first.
Great. M's peon is coming to town, no doubt to investigate the lynching. But also, I feel it in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head while I'm napping in my lorry or on a smoke break. Well, I won't stick around just to twist my own neck by constantly looking over my shoulder. Then again, isn't that what I've been doing ever since I got the call?
Yeah, that was another reason why I wanted to redo that and try to save Ruby, because I do remember that Tommy had mentioned that she had dark thoughts and that she was suicidal, and I just can't bear to see anybody go that way. Like I've been in that position. I understand what that's like. Man.
Were you supposed to find her, even apart from the investigation then? On M's request? No, you wouldn't do something like this. This must be a mistake.
Am I sure this is a mistake? Look at me.
Whatever you may look like, you don't feel like a hired assassin.
Read the entry from March 12th.
Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all, but I don't know when I'll be able to leave, or if I'll be ratted out. They will rat me out, of course. I've made it a point to believe in the best in people, the boys, for example. But experience tells me, did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people, they'd take measures to protect themselves. Even I know that. Economic measures first of all. Gotta make a living, right? I can still hear his voice in the receiver. Taste the plastic. The entry ends abruptly.
Clear the cover again.
The thick journal bound in brown leather.
What's the most recent entry?
The most recent entry is from today. It reads, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road. Man, I was really looking forward to winning.
It looks like she might have been framed.
If she didn't do it, then maybe it's good that we didn't catch her.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. We have other reasons to arrest her. Besides, I'm not sure her life as a fugitive is going to be much better than we does. Especially if she has problems with the Madre.
Kim, am I really a La Puta Madre agent?
No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure.
He truly does not believe you are. Perhaps he shouldn't be so trusting.
Then who do you think killed the merc?
Could have been Titus. Then again...
But no one heard the shot.
Maybe there's a Hardy boy we've yet to meet, who acted as his accomplice. Either way, we need to keep an eye on him. One thing is for certain. We have business back in the whirling and rags. Questions to ask. We should get to it.
So next we can call our station to confirm if we're a peon, and then return to the whirling. Whew. Alright. So, this is the perfect place to wrap up. This episode is longer than usual, but I really wanted to get to this point. I didn't know what I was expecting, but this certainly wasn't it. I'm just excited to keep going and going, but yeah, we'll have to save that for another day. So, thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Remember to save your progress, and I will see you in the next video.